morning, dear students. This is the second part of the lecture under the unit 3, and in this lecture we'll be discussing about components of physical fitness. What are parts of the physical fitness? What are things that is required to be physically fit? So under the components of the physical fitness, we'll be discussing about endurance levels, we'll be discussing about strength, we'll be discussing about flexibility, speed, and coordinative ability. One thing you have to understand is that under the physical fitness, to be considered as a physically fit, that all these 5 parts has to be present, or all these 5 components has to be present. So we'll be discussing about one after another. First, let's understand what is strength. Strength means the ability for any person or anybody to perform any kind of work effectively. That is called strength. So the ability of muscle to overcome resistance is known as strength, or it can also be defined as the amount of force and muscles or a group or muscles can exert. So how much force can exert, how much energy, how much the energy levels or force level that you can exert on anything, that is considered as a strength. Different type of works and plays require different level of strength. So whether you're playing sports also, under the sports also, for volleyball you have different level of strength. For basketball you need different level of strength. For football you need different strength. So for different kind of work and play you require different kind of strength. Now under the strength, there are 2 kinds of strength applied by persons while doing an activity. They are as follows. So under the strength also you have 2 types. One we call as a static strength. Now what is static strength? Static strength means you are applying a force, you are applying strength, but the thing is that you don't see the movements of your body. Your body is still and in one position, that is called a static, still position state, without moving. That is called a static strength. The other name for the static strength is isometric strength. Static strength is your ability to hold a pose without movement. So you are supposed to hold a positions, and depending upon what pose you're supposed to hold. If I just hold this pose, that means I require less energy. If I hold this one in this position, that means I require more energy. And if I do the plank positions, that means I require more energy. So you are in a one positions and you are applying energy. That is called as a static strength. So static strength is the ability to apply a force where the length of the muscle does not change. Now this is called the length of the muscles. When I do like this, the length of the muscles changes. But when you do the static strength, that means if I just stand in this position and this like this, then the length of the muscle does not change. So that's something for static strength. The most common example of static strength is plank pose. So this is the example of the static strength. You are in this position. Now when you are in this position, remember one thing, you are exerting, your energy is used. Now from these muscles, from this pose, you can see that the energy is utilized. At the same time, the muscle does not change. You are in this position depending on how much longer you hold this position. Depending upon that, you have more strength or you have less strength. At the same time, the muscle does not change its length. So that's the thing about length or the static strength. Also, we have the other type of strength. We have this dynamic strength. Dynamic. The other name for dynamic strength is called isometric strength. It is applied in doing movements. When you're doing any kind of movements, you use strength, and that strength is called as a dynamic strength. So when you're playing football, volleyball, any kind of sports which require movement, that is called as a dynamic strength. So this strength has reducing nature. Now when you are running, what happens? You are using the strength. With the strength, you are able to run at a fast rate, at a very slow rate, but depending upon that, you are doing some activities. Now, when you are running, what happens is definitely you are using strength. That means your strength will be exhausted. So what happens is when you are exhausted, you take rest. Now, when you take rest, what happens there? The movements of the body reduces. So that's what happens there. Has a reducing nature and get exhausted at levels that no extra movement seems possible. This type of strength is applied activities and sports at fast movement. I told you that basketball, football, any kind of movements which involves any kind of sports which involve movements will be using this kind of dynamic strength. Dynamic strength is of 3 types. Under the dynamic strength, it's further classified into 3 types, and that is what is called maximum strength. Maximum, by the word maximum means all of your energy or the amount of energy that you can use for that particular game is what that is called as the maximum strength. Now the ability to act against maximum resistance is known as maximum strength. This strength is used in the sports that involve a heavy resistance. Sports like weightlifting, shot put, hammer throw, discus throw, sprint race, long jump, high jump require maximum strength of athletes to perform them. So any kind of sport that you perform is what happens there. You require maximum level strength for just walking, for holding a pants. Maybe just going for a walk, you require minimum level of strength. With a minimum level of strength also you can perform this kind of work. But when it comes to real sport, what happens there, you require maximum level of strength. That means you need to exert more force, energy into this activity. So that's why we call it a maximum strength. So that's the example. So when you do the shot put, when you're trying the shot put also, you require maximum strength. When you're doing the swim things, when you're running, what happens there, you require energy. And the energy that you apply in the process of completing the sport, that is called as a maximum strength. And under the maximum strength, you have to understand that the maximum strength is used throughout the process. That's a thing. But under the explosive strength is used for a short duration, just for a period of time, and that is maybe for 10 seconds, maybe 5 seconds. You can use this one for short durations. The ability under explosive strength, the ability to overcome resistance with a high speed is not an explosive. Explosions, remember the explosion is just for one period of time, and once you use that, it's gone forever. So it is generally applied in those sports in which very fast and powerful responses require, for example, shot put, sprint, hammer throw, etc. For example, shot put. Yeah, you're holding a shot put. Now when you hold a shot put, what happens here? You're using energy. So it can be used as maximum strength from the beginnings until the completion of the process. We call this maximum strength. But what is meant by explosive means you're holding the shot put, and after what happens, you are taking the position. That is not a shot put. But when you release, the moment you release it, that process, you apply all the energy that you have in the body at one go. At one go, that is called as an explosive strength. Sprint, just walking and running, so this is not an explosive strength. That is called the maximum strength. You can answer this of minimum strength or maximum strength. But when you thought about using all the energy at one go, running at very high speed, and you apply all the energy at one time, that is considered as a explosive strength. Same thing with a hammer throw. So when you're throwing, also same thing. What happens is you take the position, you hold the position, and after when you throw and release the hammer at one go with all your energy that you have, that is considered as an explosive strength. Next one, strength endurance. Endurance means ability for you to sustain activity for longer duration. That's called strength endurance. The ability of muscles to overcome resistance even after applying maximum strength is known as strength endurance. This is quality of muscles to keep the movements activities for extended period of time. You are doing a work, you're getting tired, your energy is getting over. But the thing is like this, you want to continue that process for more durations, for longer duration. That is called as the endurance. Endurance means ability for you to perform any activity for a longer durations. Now, strength endurance is applied in long distance race like swimming, rock cycling, mountaineering, etc. Now, this kind of activities, the swimming, it can be about long distance, that's marathon runs, maybe 1,000 or 1,000 kilometer race, all things. So, this kind of activities or this kind of sport is conducted for longer durations. So when you're conducting for long durations, what happens is that you need to continue on the same pace. You're running with a certain speed, and that same speed you need to continue from the beginning till the end. So you need to continue the process for long durations. So that is called as a strength endurance. Continuing the activity for a longer duration, for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. So the longer you can do, that means your endurance level will be higher. Next one, we go endurance. Now, I have already explained in your previous slide that endurance means ability for anybody to perform activity for longer durations. You're doing a work, and that work you can do the work for 1 hour, but you want to continue for 2 hours, you want to continue for 3 hours, means extending the durations. You're continuing the process for longer durations. That is called as the endurance. For example, the training session is for 1 hour, and under 1 hour, people or the athletes or the students will get tired. But you want to continue on. Now, when you continue on, will show the level of endurance levels. So the ability to sustain an activity for a long period of time is known as endurance. In simple word, endurance is the quality of muscles to continue an activity despite they are exhausted. So your muscles are exhausted, you are getting tired, but you still want to do that. So that is how your endurance levels will be determined. That means high endurance levels or low endurance levels. Endurance plays important role in almost all the sports, in long distance race, swimming, cricket, football, basketball, etc. Any kind of sports you name it, for a long distance durations of any kind of sport. You need to have high level of endurance levels. The more high level of endurance level, you'll be able to complete the task or complete the sports effectively and without much problems. So that's why endurance level is used in almost every kind of long distance sports, long duration sports. It is usually measured by number of repetitions. The number of repetitions you're doing. Two students going for a 100-meter race. How many times you can go for this round? You're going for one round, and after you're going for 2 rounds, 3 rounds, and after many of the students will give up. They will get tired. When somebody gets tired means that is the level of this endurance level. But you want to go on more and more like this. So it will be your endurance levels will be determined by the number of repetitions you do. Okay. Endurance is of 2 types. One is called short-term endurance, long-term endurance. Endurance, short-term endurance means the effort that you put for shorter durations. So this type of endurance is used for short durations when the intensity of sports is very far. So it can be used for the sprinting, it can be used for 100-meter race, it can be used for 200-meter race. So under a race, the short duration race, or maybe the high jumps, also like this. So this kind of the short duration race, that the effort you put, the energy you put, the endurance that you put under that will be considered as a short duration endurance. But long duration endurance means going for this marathon race, going for this playing the football for long duration, playing basketball for long duration. So these all these things, any sports and activity that you play for long durations, that will come under that long-term endurance. Next one, that is speed. Speed is the ability to perform the movements in the same directions for a longer duration. So speed is the ability to perform the movements of same pattern at a faster rate is called speed. So anything that you perform, object that is moving or your body that is moving, you are continuing with the same patterns and you get better and better. So that is called as a speed. In simple words, speed is the capacity of muscle to move the body at a faster as possible. So it's about your muscles, how your muscles moves your body. Okay. Now, depending upon that, your body will be moving at a faster rate or your body will be moving at a slower rate. But you have to understand one thing, our body consists of 2 types of muscles. One is called the fast twitch muscles and the other one we call slow twitch muscles, or we can also understand like this, red muscles, and also we can understand the white muscles. Now if you have higher number of white muscles, your body will be moving at a faster rate, or you can run at a very fast rate. But if you have more of the red muscles, what happens then your body will be a little bit slower as compared to those white muscles. So depending upon the number of muscles that you have, white muscles or red muscles that you have in your body will be fast or your body will be slow. So in this case, what happens is that it depends on the white muscles fiber, that is white twitch. Fast twitch fibers can be contract rapidly and can produce maximum speed. Contract. This is an expanded form. So you cannot contract it, you cannot compress it. But when you take the springs, you have the springs, you can compress it. When you can compress it and release the spring, it goes at a very fast rate. But this one, you cannot compress it, so when you can compress it, it will not go travel at a fast rate. So just like that, depending upon the contractions of muscle, this white twitch fiber muscles, what they do is that they contract very rapidly. They keep on contracting. So when you contract it, it will go fast like this. So that's the reasons why a person with a white twitch fibers, these fibers, they are able to run at a very fast rate. So this is just for our objective. Make sure that remember that there's fast twitch fibers and the slow twitch fiber. Based on this one, you have faster and you have slower body speed. Flexibility. Now when you talk about flexibility, we also talk about the yoga instructors and after all these athletes, stretching is all this, turning all his body. But flexibility is not only important for a sports person, but everybody in your daily life. And especially this flexibility will play a very major role as you get mature or as you get older, or at the older stage. This flexibility plays a very important role. For example, you want to tie your shoelace, you have to bend down, that is called flexibility. You want to stretch your back, so you have to turn your body, or you have to turn your body, or move your hands and back, so that's called flexibility. Maybe you are turning your body from right to left, this is also flexibility. So flexibility plays a very important role for you to perform any kind of work effectively. So the ability of joints to move at a maximum range is called flexibility. So that's the definition about flexibility. So these are all the joints like this. These are all joints. So from this joint, you are able to move the joint from one direction effectively. So that is called as a flexibility. Flexibility plays important roles not only for sports persons but also for a common man to perform his daily activities. I already explained to you all the daily activities that you're supposed to do, and you can also think about the activities that you do at home. All these activities require this flexibility. You're sitting down, that is also require flexibility. You're getting up, that is also called flexibility. So if you don't have a flexibility, then you will not be able to perform the work effectively. Flexibility are of two types. One is called active flexibility, one is called the passive flexibility. Active flexibility means you're able to move your joints by yourself. So this is called active flexibility. I don't need the help of anybody. So this is called active flexibility. But when you take the help of somebody, the second person, the second object, maybe you take the help of a partner, you take the help of a weight, you take the help of a rubber band. So this is called as a passive flexibility. So in this case, you can see that this person is trying to increase the flexibility of his leg portion. So what happens is she is using his hand to compress down like this. So in this case, this is called a passive flexibility. In this case, also to bend down, all these things also. He cannot do by himself, so he's taking the help of an instructor. So that is called the passive flexibility. Also, I would like to use one more example. In this example, you can see like this. This is called a passive flexibility because to stretch her legs upside, what happens is that she's taking the help or support of the hand. So that's why you call it the passive flexibility. But in this case, you can see like this, the arms, the hands, the legs, all those things, it's not taking the support anybody, it's just naturally with its own support, with own ability, she's just trying to lift up in any direction, so this is called as a passive flexibility. Coordinative, this is the last part of the lecture, this is called a coordinative ability, coordinations. The word coordinations or coordinative means trying to understand, support each other. That is called as a coordinative. Coordinative in the society, coordinations in the classrooms, coordinations with the teachers. So coordinations is a word where there's mutual understanding and we need to work it out together. That's called coordination. So coordinative ability are those ability of an individual which enables the individual to do various related activities properly as well as efficiently. If you don't have coordinations with your body, with the right hand, the left hand, there's a coordination. The brain has got parts, the right side, the left side, they need to coordinate with each other. Then after you need to work it out. So that's called coordinative ability. Now, I'll give you one example about this coordinative ability. Now, this guy. Now, whenever you perform any kind of activities on a field or grounds, whatever, they require lots of movements. You need to go from the right side to the left side, you need to go from the front side, you need to go to the back side sometimes. So your positions always keep on changing in the fields. Now when your body is changing, so what happens is that you need to make some adjustments with your body very quickly. Now when you make an adjustment with your quick body, that is called the coordinative ability for your body to move any directions, anywhere. That is called as a coordinative ability. So this guy, when he is training from this to this corner also, he goes zigzag, all things like this also, that require coordinative ability. To pass the ball to front, back, to move the body front, back, that is also called as a coordinative ability. So coordinative ability helps your body to move effectively and efficiently, and which is very much important for the sport. So under the physical fitness is not only about developing strength, about going to the gyms also. It's about everything. It requires a strength, it requires an endurance level, it requires a coordination level, it requires a speed level. So everything is combined together will be considered as a physical fitness. So just check it out yourself in which category it falls. Either you lag behind the flexibility or not, either you lag behind the strength or not, either you have speed problems or not. So just check it out by yourself, and I think it's very important for you to modify yourselves, or you need to train yourselves to get it better. So we'll see you next time. Thank you.